So the first one is understanding that particular topic or question. So you read the question, you break it down into parts. You see the keywords that is there, that is being asked, whether they're asking to explain or discuss or comment or something like that. Like how GS may they do it. 90 minutes, one essay. In 90 minutes, you will have to write. So this is what you have to practice. If you don't focus on this, you will give a lot of importance to introduction and body. And if there is no conclusion, you will lose marks. Unnecessarily. 20 marks will go off. Okay, so this is how we should plan also. So when you are writing your essay, first essay, please look into this. So you will be writing for about 13 pages. 13 pages only, about 2.5 pages of introduction, about 2.5 pages of conclusion. The rest, about 8 to 9 pages, you will write your body. So generally we can start with a story. Okay, we can start with a quote. Okay, we can give some very dramatic data. Like a poverty, education, you can give that very emotional data because people need narratives. That is what attracts people emotionally. So here you are trying to touch their emotion, make them feel that passion towards a particular object. So when you're writing, if this is the page, so you start with this. So you can go on writing in different paragraph. So let's say this is the economic benefit of demographic dividend. Everything with respect to economic, you can write. So whether it is gives labor, okay, support to the economy, expenditure increases with more population, right? All that are economic aspects. An idea the economy should be clubbed together. Like expert, illi your views jote, you can also give expert opinions. The committee has given international experiences. All that can be also a good way to conclude. Like how demographic dividend was used by Japan to, after war-torn World War II admele, how they used their, existing demographic dividend to, same way. Hello, good evening, everyone. How are you guys doing? Great, wonderful. Okay, so welcome to NammaKPSC for those who are attending for the first time. For the others, okay, so we'll be starting with our essay introduction. Okay, so today I will give you a brief orientation as to how to write a good essay. I'm sure many of you who have already written mains in the past, you all have a basic brief idea as to what is expected out of you in an essay paper. Okay, so I'll give you my perspective. Okay, so this is not the only perspective. Okay, so you should have your own approach at the end of the day because everybody has their own writing skills, okay, abilities. So if you ask me, even before I start the essay program, I'm telling you that if you have some qualities, you have to strengthen it. Everybody's essay should be very unique. That is where you get that marks. Yes, there is a basic principle. There's a basic approach that you need to, follow. But other than that, okay, you should have your own style, your own unique way of writing your essay. Okay, so why this initiative separately? I'm giving so much of importance to it, and I'll tell you what all we are planning to do also, because I have seen in the past 3 notification the difference between those who clear the exam and those who don't clear the exam. Okay, their essay marks especially, okay, has a huge difference. Somebody can score even 190 in essay. Okay, I have got that 190 score once. And then there are people who get 140 and 130. So the difference is huge. All right. So therefore, okay, with very little effort, you can score really well in your essay paper. All right. And it requires a little bit of, approach or a little bit of, kind of discipline towards dealing with it, because we tend to neglect it, thinking that, array, general studies, salwa, current affairs, salwa, somehow we will manage it. But trust me, if you, try to incorporate some of those basic ideas, what I'm going to discuss today, and practice, you will get that extra 50 marks. 50 marks is huge. Okay, between, another person who is getting 140 and you can get around 190 means it's huge. Unlike UPSC, where your scores 130, 140 is a very good score. Here, people have also got 190 out of 250. All right. So therefore, easy to score, low hanging fruit, you should not leave it. So, whatever support we can provide from our end, okay, to enhance your essay, we will do that. What you should be able to do, as you will see at the end of the session, that ultimately, if you practice more, your scores also will be very high. Okay, so that is what we will try and follow throughout our journey till we write our mains exam. All right. So that's what. So I'll just quickly run through what is a good essay and how do we break it down and what we need to write, etc. Okay. So after that, we will see how to approach it. Online students, I hope all of you are able to hear me and all of that. Yes. Okay. So how to score maximum marks? Okay. So targeting about 190, 200 in our essay paper. All right. So it has two parts to it. Essay. There are two parts. I'm not talking from UPSC point of view. This is very specific for KPSC. Okay. Even though essay is there, even there here also, as you have seen in the previous year, with the previous year papers, that the type of essay question they ask, okay, in KPSC is very different from UPSC. So it's almost like GS question only, but just that you have to write 1,500 words for that topic. All right. So that becomes challenging. Yes. So we will stick to the same idea. Okay. Thinking that they will continue the same trend. And I believe that they will continue the same trend. Okay. Asking one question from international and national and one question from local or state level questions. Okay. They might make the question a little bit difficult either by giving some quote or something like that, but still it is going to address some major issues that is there in current affairs. Okay, so don't expect too drastic change in the essay paper also, is what I would say. If I was also preparing, I would do that only. Okay, because if it is asked like a quote based question, etc., I feel it becomes easier. If it is fact based question, okay, if you don't know, you don't know. Okay, you lose the entire 125 marks. So our first level of preparation should be for how conventionally KPSC has been asking. Maybe towards the end, we can discuss some quote-based questions, etc. towards the end. But I don't think that you have to worry about it. All right. So there are two parts to an essay. Okay, when you are writing your essay, first one is understanding that particular topic or question. Alva. So a question might have several parts. Sumar Janrige, the first thing that they'll not understand the essay only. Okay, or they will not understand the various parts of an question that is being asked. Okay, so the first one is understanding that particular topic or question. So you read the question, Allah, you break it down into parts. You see the keywords that is there, that is being asked, whether they're asking to explain or discuss or comment or something like that. Like how GS may they do it. Not a problem with that. The same thing. Okay, so understand that particular topic or question. And the second part of an essay is to express your ideas. To express your ideas. So that idea should be expressed, right? And what are the two aspects of those? One is the content and how you present that content. That is the structuring part of it. How do you arrange that idea? Okay, so over here, if you ask me, there is content, arrangement, and understanding. Yes, understanding admele, you will move to the next step. Out of this, content becomes the most important in KPSC. Okay, the more factual information you write, okay, the more points that you present and argue, the better the marks you're going to get. That has been my experience. The more you write, the examiner is happy. Okay, idontara undergraduation illa school level alli, I mean, PUC alli, filling up pages. It also works over here. Okay, again, both has to go hand in hand. You need to have the content also, and you need to ensure that there are more points in your essay also. Okay, so this we have to work on. Many students neglect it. Okay, so I have given one handout already. This is how we will be managing essay. Okay, I will discuss that later. So content we have to develop. All right. So when I got 190, okay, we had, when I was studying, I had made a list of about 20, 25 topics. 2 topics came. Aram se, I had all the content, I had fact, I had ready-made quote also. Okay, I had ready-made names of personality which I had to write. Okay, and it went really well. It did not create any fear. After the exam, we were laughing like, yes, see, we guessed this kind of question. And I'm sure many who have cleared the exam will tell you the same thing. They had prepared for it. Okay, UPSC essay, the content part need not be prepared so much. The writing skill should be prepared. Here, you have to prepare the content also. And then obviously writing that also is important. ಈಗ ನನಗೆ percentage wise ಅಂದ್ರೆ 50% content, 50% writing. That becomes important. So we'll do that. Iga, I'm not going to waste too much of your time. I know every minute is important now. Okay, so I'm not going to define what is an essay. I won't tell you what is the purpose of essay. All that is nothing. The purpose is to get maximum marks. Aita? So adralli, first thing is content, but content will come over a period of 2 months. Like you can't, many students will ask me, give me 20 topics now only. That doesn't work like that. Okay, every day or weekly, at least 4 topics I will give you, so that gradually you can build the content. First thing is, let's try to see how to write an essay, so that from Monday when you are writing your first essay, you will at least have some idea to write. Okay, right. So that is understanding the topic and expressing it. Alva, so when you're writing an essay, obviously there is the introduction, the body and conclusion. Okay, I am also embarrassed to tell all these things because you know it already. But anyways, let's very quickly run through it and help you understand. For those who have never written essay, okay, so like your GS answer, there is an introduction, there is a conclusion, and there is a body. So how much how much words you have to write? 1,500 maximum. Don't cross it. So on the 1,300, let's put it at 1,300 to 1,400. Don't cross this. Maximum you'll have to write 1,500. Ashtu bariyak agadilla. You won't have so much time to write. Okay, so this is how many words you have to write. Okay, and so introduction can be about 300 words. Body can be about 900 words. Okay, maximum I'm saying, and conclusion should be around 300 words. All right. So given that generally in term, 100 per page, generally a normal handwriting, okay, somebody's handwriting which is almost like an average handwriting, they can write about 100 words per page. So that means you will have to write about 13 to 14 pages. So this is the target, right? In 90 minutes, one essay. In 90 minutes, you will have to write. So this is what you have to practice. If you don't focus on this, you will give a lot of importance to introduction and body. And if there is no conclusion, you will lose marks unnecessarily. 20 marks will go off if you abruptly conclude. So therefore, give equal importance to all of this. So about 3 pages. Make sure as you finish second page, third page, it should be in your head that yes, I should now start the main aspect, main body of the essay after 2 page. Same way, after about 8 to 9 page, you should start, your brain should start telling you that yes, start your conclusion. Because if you don't conclude, then again, as I told you, 20 marks will go off. So weight distribution, marks distribution atara enilla, introduction gistu, body gistu, conclusion gistu, but generally same weightage can also be given in terms of marks also. 20% of the marks for introduction, the rest is for body, and 20% for the conclusion. Our weightage allo, we can look into it. Okay, so this is how we should plan also. So when you are writing your essay, first essay, please look into this. So you will be writing for about 13 pages. 13 pages only, about 2.5 page of introduction, about 2.5 page of conclusion. The rest, about 8 to 9 page, you will write your body. Is that okay? In terms of page, if your handwriting is little big or small, accordingly make those changes. This you should know. It is very important. Yakandre we tend to miss out on all of this. It may look very simple to tell all these. Now that you have cleared you're going to clear prelims, but still students make this mistakes. I have made that. Okay, taking it very lightly. Note bidana anta. Agadilla, right? So this has to be planned like this. Okay. Introduction. If you ask me what is the good introduction is, anything that hooks on to the examiner. Okay, so it's like fishing, right? Something you have to throw a bait at the examiner. Anything that is catchy, anything that like, see, ultimately examiner is doing a very mundane work. Alva. So he's coming or she is coming and evaluating. Nobody is, very happy about it, if you ask me. Lot of, especially KPSC, I have spoken to people who have evaluated. So they are like punishment. Ayo, namgiga alhogi correction ge hakidare 3 days, 4 days. They have to stay in, designated places where they have to stay and then correct. They're not very happy. So you provide them something interesting that, okay, to look up. You can't make them very happy also, definitely, but don't make them sad. Don't make it more, problematic for them, or, once again, same thing like eye for an eye makes the whole world by ayo, ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಲ ಬರಿ. Okay, don't have to be like this. Same thing. They should not get like, okay, this yet another, essay anta ಅನ್ಸ್ಬಾರ್ದು. So anything, it can be any kind of such hook. So generally we can start with a story. Okay, we can start with a quote. Okay, we can give some very dramatic data, like a poverty, education, you can give that very emotional data, because people need narratives. That is what attracts people emotionally. So here you are trying to touch their emotion, make them feel that passion towards a particular object. So whether it is education, whether it is women empowerment, it works everywhere. Okay, even in interview also, create that narrative. Yes. So I always tell my students, main students, be drone Pratap. You have to try and create that, imagination. You have seen some of his, like he's like, I had to carry 10 suitcase. Hode alitte bande. Hode alitte bande. Right? So many people follows him. Correct? No, so many people followed him. Okay, after a long time, we get to realize it is not fake. It is all fake. Exam alli gotagalla. It is just hardly you have half an hour, so you can fake it off. Interview also, half an hour you are in front of him, you say, oh, I am very poor, I came from, no problem. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ಚೆಕ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, that they will come, separate team only will come. So here also same thing, narrative. Hook them into your idea, into your sphere of influence. Once they are hooked on, they'll then see, okay, ಏನ್ ಬರ್ದಿದಾರಪ್ಪ, let's go to the next step ಅಂತ. So you should develop that. See, I can't tell, write like this. This should be written antalla. It should come very organically, and that will come only through practice. It will not come otherwise. I can't tell you that hinge bariri andre exam al bere hengo bandre you will come after me after the exam. So you have to develop that ability to write your answer. Your introduction. So if you ask me what is the best introduction, something which hooks on to the examiner's thought process, and you can at least keep his attention for about half an hour. I say maybe 15 to 20 or half an hour, whatever time might be taken. That person should feel like it's worth his time or her time to read your essay. So that should be your best introduction. If you ask me very philosophically, what is a good introduction? But technically, what all you can write? Obviously, you can write the context. Last time when they asked about education policy, you write the context as to why there was a need for them to come up with a new education policy. Obviously, it was in news. Obviously, we had also expected that question, and they had asked. So avaga, you can give the context as to why they have come up with this new policy, or what was the need for them to come up with this policy. You can talk about the challenges that education sector is facing, right? And in that context, the new education policy, amala, you write its feature, and then you write its challenges, and then the solutions. That's how your essay progressed. So you can give a context, or you can give a story, right? But again, story should be, psychologists have done research to show what is the attention of human brain for a particular thought. So that is what has been used by Instagram and YouTube also. Nobody watches big, videos nowadays. Adike shorts are so trending. Yes. So 90 seconds. So 90 seconds, you have to tell your story. I have seen students story bariri ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 4 page ಬರೀತಾರೆ ಆಯ್ತಾ. I mean, nobody will get, impressed by a 4-page story. Is that okay? So if you are writing a small story, it should be a 90 seconds read. 1.5 minute ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ನೀವು ಆ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, you should do it. You understood? So a 90-second story, meaning ಅವ್ರು ಓದೋದಕ್ಕೆ 90 seconds ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ನೀವು ಬರೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ obviously take more, right? But for them to read about 90 seconds. Okay, this is scientific. Nothing is being spoken with just hange ella with 90 seconds read. It should be a story. So you can start with that story. Again, story is very, very tricky because you end up telling a wrong story. Okay, so that is also very, so it's a very tricky thing. Like if you are not a good storyteller, oh, I'm very happy I told a story, that fellow would not have understood only, right? Correct? No, adagutte tane, right? If you have seen what is that UI movie and all, you have your own interpretation of the story. Allah. So I haven't seen, I've heard that you can interpret it anyhow. So aa reeti agbaradu, right? It should be very obvious, crisp and things like that, something which is known to people. When you incorporate those things and all is fine. Or you can take the story of something which is like live examples of story, like story of Malala or something like that, where it has an incident has happened. Okay, like how she fought for the education and she won a Nobel Prize for that. Education kottaga, you can say that how education is so important for a society, for youngsters, for women, and people are known to fight, and somebody has fought for the education rights, and in that context, atara. See, when I tell you only, you are like appreciating. If I go on telling some story for about half an hour, you'll be like, okay, yavag agutte hogana, nam time waste agta ide, hangi agutte. So you have to be very crisp. You can narrate your own story, but it's very dangerous if you ask me, because nano sumar essay I have read of students where the story goes on for 3 pages. Definitely you will get, it is a bad way to start, boring way to start. Alva adonthara nam serial tara, kannada serial tara agogutte adu, episode after episode after episode, the same thing will be there. Okay, then you can start with some eye raising data, right? Something which is going to again capture the essence of the topic. Education ugly, health ugly, anything, the essence of that idea should be captured through your data. So Ariti, you can start with some human development index or some committee report. Okay, and therefore the justification of that particular idea that they are demanding for a separate state. I'll tell you how to read all of that later. Again, quote related to this, and see, if you see our essay handbook alli, live as if you were to die tomorrow, learn as if you were to live forever. Okay, I mean, so something like that relating to education, social development, skill development, and keldaga, something like that can be started and give the foundation for your essay. Amele brief overview of what you are going to talk. That also is one way to approach. So one very senior officer who had cleared about 10-15 years back, when I happened to meet, when I was a student, when I happened to meet that lady, she told me that she always used to leave about a page and then start her essay, so that once she writes her essay, she would come back and fill that first page, okay, as to a summary of what she is going to talk about. ಈಗ ನೀವು editorials ಓದಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಲ್ವಾ? So ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ one paragraph. They would have already spoken about what you can expect from the essay. So that's also a good way to do it. See how you are going to do it. You try it, then you get feedback, then you will know whether it is working for you or not. Artha aita? ಈಗ I can't tell you ready-made. There's nothing ready-made. You try it. Once you try to start with a quote, practice only. Once you start with a story, once this conscious attempt you have to do. So when you write it and the examiner has written very good, okay, then you know that yes, you're a good storyteller. Or you give your paper to somebody else, your friend, and ask him, did you understand? Yen maga ishtu boring bardidya. Then it is not good. So that's how you have to try and find. So I'm telling you, everybody has a unique style. of writing. So this is one suggestion that she gave me, that try this. I did try it. Okay, it didn't work out for me. Okay, so that's how it is. So you can probably write a brief overview. You try to brainstorm, and then you come up with the idea. So use that idea to create this overview of what you can expect in the essay. So that's also way, or some speech of some famous personality, or past, that is, and current or something like that can be done. So whatever. So these are some ideas. Is my suggestion. You can have your own way to start also. But unlike a GS paper where you have to be to the point, illi essay andre you have to express a little bit more emotions. Adike probably 2 pages, 2.5 pages you can write. Is that okay? So ultimate, what we can take out from all of this is that you should grab the attention of the examiner. Assume examiner is really bored. How do you capture his mind? Write it down. Okay. If you want, I mean, write it down. That's what. So how do I capture the attention of my examiner? Just imagine 3 o'clock afternoon, after heavy lunch, he or she is getting your paper. Manenda, already 4 missed calls have come. Okay, so how will you write a introduction to impress that person? That is a good essay, if you ask me. Okay, na? So we will work on it. See, again, you write, make mistake, make correction. That's all. But these are the suggestions. Okay, na? We'll move on. So this is the introduction. Next, coming to the body. All right. So bodily, right? We always say that you try to write as many dimensions as possible. Okay. So again, the body depends upon what the question is asking. First of all, correct, Allah. So if you see, we'll see the previous year paper, you'll be fairly comfortable. If you see the first question, it's, I think, explain the concept of demographic dividend. What are its advantages? Discuss the different methods of reaping the benefits. Right? So, illi, whatever, you will give the basic context and or quotes and the population numbers to show how our population presently is and what will happen in the future, how aging population and all of that. That context you will give, and then you will end up in that, yes, it's a demographic dividend. And then you'll explain what is the demographic dividend and things like that. And here the question is very direct. What are its advantages? Now, this is what I'm saying. You will start with the first part of your body is about the advantage of demographic dividend. So when you are writing that, you have to write in various dimensions, is what I'm saying. Not monotonously one flow without any organization. So whatever is the question that is being asked, try to express them in various dimensions, right? So here is a list of those dimensions. It's there in your lesson also. So historical, if they don't apply, don't write it. Is that okay? But here it is applicable. Demographic dividendally, you can use historical dimensions to explain the advantage. Alva, you can give country analysis, historical data to support your argument that yes, this has happened. So there is an historical dimension, right? In the past, we used to have faced challenge of these things. Now we are facing this, whatever. Historical you can write. Socio-cultural advantage. Alva. So those things you'll have. So hange, you see all these are the various dimensions. Political dimension, the governance aspect, administrative, economic, environmental, science, security, all right, international and ethical dimension. This is the list of various dimensions. If it is ready-made, this is so that you can think. It's just to trigger your thoughts. This framework is only to help you trigger your thought. Yen baribodu. If it is not applicable, skip it. If it is not relevant, you can skip it, no problem, right? So it will help you to write the advantage of something. Okay, it will help you to explain the negativity of something, correct? No, so demographic dividend has both advantages as well as disadvantage, in the sense if it is not used properly, it can become a disaster. So it can be an economic disaster. It can be a social disaster. If it is not used, you are not taking care of their education. Poverty will rise. Unemployment will rise. It's a social problem. Economy, stress on the infrastructure, economic problem. Right? So those dimensions are environment, pollution. If you are not taking care of the, stress on the resources, there will be excess use of the resources leading to environmental related problems. Bariyaga, you have to think, Allah. So each dimension you can give one paragraph. If you ask me, okay, if you have more content, you break it down into more paragraphs. So your body automatically, see, you have to write 9 pages, Allah, 8 to 9 pages. So if you take each idea, right, ille you have got 10 paragraph. Positive 10 paragraph, negative 10 paragraph, ready-made you have got. So it will help you to think. Any topic you can think like this. Am I right? Yes, if you have tried to write any answer, these are the various dimensions. And therefore, when you write these dimensions, so you will be writing in para, okay, and each of these para should contain the same theme. It should be together, the same theme should. If you're writing economy, all economy should be together. Then you make transition to environment or pollution or something, it should deal with it. It should not be like on the environment, amele something came, then you write, then something came, you write. No. So there should be a beautiful flow in your body. So you can start, generally history is first when you are writing. Historical or contextual is the first. Then you start with whichever you like, socio-political, economic, governance, environment, science and technology, you can have your order. So when you are writing, if this is the page, so you start with this. So you can go on writing in different paragraph. So let's say this is the economic benefit of demographic dividend. Everything with respect to economic, you can write. So whether it is gives labor, okay, support to the economy, expenditure increases with more population, right? All that are economic aspects. An idea of the economy should be clubbed together. You don't mix the two. I hope you understood. So that is one more thing that you can remember. If you are writing 2 paragraphs on economy, okay, it should again be together. So when the examiner reads, again, there is a nice flow to your essay. Again, you read others' essay, you will realize. So there will be a lot of breaks. So nam brain continuity gets lost. So therefore, you have to keep in this mind. Is that okay, guys? Different dimensions. Anything, if you take, all the previous year questions, for everything, you can think from this angle. If you see the second part, state, current agrarian distress, discuss the current agrarian distress. Okay, so if that is the question, again, you can explain it from different dimensions. Agrarian distress andaga, if it is asked in an economy paper, you will write economic aspect. But agrarian distress is not just that. Agrarianism in sociology, anthropology, they say it's not just limited to economic aspects. It is to do with the interrelationship that exists in an agrarian economy. Andre, relationship that exists between the labor and the owners of the land and the market, etc. The relationship. Traditionally, the relationship was based on caste system. Idella nim GS2, GS1 section 2, right? So that agrarian relationship. Same economy is asked even in economy paper also. There the idea would be different. There you'll talk about fertilizers, the cost price, the market, APMC. Illi you are talking about feminization of agriculture, migration of the agrarian, laborers, etc. Then there is a change in the ownership, right? Fragmentation of the land through the family system and the archaic laws, legal problems that is there. That becomes the political or administrative. Tomorrow you are all going to be, some of you are going to deal with this on a day-to-day basis. Because you are going to be executive magistrate, you will be running courts, land tribunals. AC is a head of the land tribunals. Alnodi, 90% of the cases are relating to this only. And most of the land are barren. Not because there is lack of irrigation, but yes, due to irrigation also, but in terms of legal matters, because nobody owns that land. So those are the administrative problem. You will not think unless you have a trigger word that will trigger your thought. You understood? ಈಗ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ you will think, oh yeah, correct, I can write this. But ಅಲ್ಲಿ exam ಅಲ್ಲಿ who will be there? So close your eyes when that 15 minutes of brainstorming ಇರುವಾಗ administration, think, administrative distress ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಈಗ why agrarian distress is there, farm suicides, etc. Again, it's a loan ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, they have taken loan from money lenders because they don't own properties. Why don't they own properties? Because socially they are marginalized. That becomes the social factors, not economy. Yes, GS ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು economy ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, but if it is written in social, it gives variety. Alva? Because of social fabric, like who is committing suicide? Not the upper caste. Okay, it is the lower caste. Why lower caste? Because they don't own land traditionally, historically. Allah. So you can start, see, no question, will, see, every question will have these dimension if you put your thought. If we sit one day and we discuss, we'll get all those dimensions. You take anything, you will get it. Regional politics. Same thing, regional politics and bari politics are obviously not, right? It has got history into it. It has got socio-cultural, linguistic, ethnicity, religion, correct? You take political, yes, gameplay, people manipulate other people, yes, administrative, because people feel that they are being neglected administratively. Allah. Economic, obvious it is sons of the soil or whatever theories, lack of jobs and opportunities and other things, competition, KPSC we see, no. Allah. So why is so much of galata? These things only, right? Environment, I don't know, maybe, if you think again, we might get an environment point also, never know. Regionalism, yes, environment under geography. So you have different regions having different, geographical, so Malnad region, matte Bayelseeme region, differences of, maybe you can just push it in your answer somehow, alwa. So Ariti, you can just, write from different dimensions, any topic. So this will help you to come up with ready-made trigger for your thought process, and then you can write answers. Okay, na? Right? Write your body. So if you see here, what are the advantage? Okay, that was the first part. So you will dedicate some percentage of your essay to that. Then discuss the different methods for reaping the benefits of demography. So again, right, there are social, demographic dividend andre, we only focus on economy, skill development, education. We don't talk about gender equality. 50% of our population are not allowed to work andre, Allah. So in the youth, in that also, if you are talking about gender, women, so if you are trying to create social change and culture of gender equality, automatically you are reaping the demographic dividend. Alva. So that is not economy, that is not administrative, it is cultural. Correct? So back, like say 30, 40 years, demographic dividends, major challenge was even today. Alva. So if a woman becomes pregnant, she has to give up her job. Right? After that, 3-4 years of child care, she becomes irrelevant for the market. Trend would have changed. I have seen so many of my cousins who got, who are in very good job, private me. I'm sure many of you also will has experienced that. Quit. You go back to the market, the skills have trade, especially technical jobs. You write it emotionally, those things. Because of those persons, we don't write it like that. Essay adalla baribeku. Stories in between you can write. Okay, experiences. Alva. So when I tell those things, isn't it emotional? You connect with that. Yes. So those things has to be written. So socio-cultural. So Ariti, what are the different methods of reaping andaga? You will try to write that. That you have to create a culture of equality within the family level, within the societal level. Then you can think of new education, other scheme, e-scheme, for selfie with your daughter, all that madodu is to bring about, okay, one aspect, those things also has to be taken into account. I hope you understood, right? So everything can have those dimensions. So this will help you to write beautiful essays. So itna you by heart or remember. It comes very naturally, but ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಜಲ್ದಿಲಿ exam hurry in that, you want to write fast and you're scared that you'll not complete the paper. You end up missing out beautiful point which you already know. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ when we discuss or when you think about it, oh, ಇದು ಬರಿಬೋದಿತ್ತು, nothing like you don't know. Just that in the exam hall, it won't come. Correct, no? Right? So this will help you to get those thoughts out there. Ashta. Okay. You can further split it. See, a society andre, I'm not saying it's limited to only that. Right? You can further split it at individual level, at family level, at social institutional level. Okay, at the regional and national levels. Regional and national level. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ GS ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. Dominant caste, caste system, all those things. That comes at the social institutional level, caste system. Alva, if you see any jobs, including government and private sector, are captured by dominant castes. Right? So that means you are losing out very skilled people of another caste. That you thought about over here. Family level mein gender you thought. Okay, whatever. Individual idre, individual you will write. Because political also you can think from different angle. So you can think from a ideological point of view, political ideology, political institution, constitutional level, legal level, institutional levels. So if you see here, constitutional level, you'll start with that. Legal dimensions. Okay, then institutions, various institutions, right? Your whether it is constitutional bodies, statutory bodies, anything which is relevant, you will add to it. So governance ali, you can again write from administrative, good governance, whatever. So hariti you can think. So economic dimension andre, you can think from taxation point of view, employment point of view, okay, expenditure point of view, growth and development point of view. Nimde enen syllabus ali chapters ideyalla relating to that, you can think from that. You create your own. Go back home today and you try to break it down further into smaller topics. Because science and technology law, you can find out several such dimensions. Okay. Is that okay, guys? Nimde en GS syllabus ideyalla, the breakdown of that, monetary policy, fiscal policy, right? Growth, development, poverty, planning, all of that, inflation. How does it impact anything? If it is relevant, you will write it. Not relevant, skip it. Okay, so when we do brainstorming, I'll show you that the first stage is brainstorming. Avaga, this will help. Is that okay? Any doubt with respect to body? So body content is this. The flow is, you start with history, obviously. The rest, it's up to you. Ask me history, generally social issues, society, culture comes. Then polity, governance, administration, constitution comes. Then economy comes. For me, I'm saying. For you, you can have your own GS 1, 2, 3. Okay, na? So that's how you can organize your thoughts also. Everything is there. We just have to bring it together. All right. Okay, so as I told you, flow. The content is table baribodu. To show demographic dividend, you can put a table. Make it interesting. As I told you, there is no fixed pattern. UPSC law, I have been advised by those who have cleared to put diagrams. So there is a very mixed philosophical question. Obviously, you can't put those things because these are an idea which has to be told like a story. Alli, you don't have it. But kelu polity, alli, but yeah, as you said, UPSC scope is very less. Okay, but there's no rule as such anta. If it is the demand, please write it. Amele enandre iga advantage, disadvantage. I have seen students write very complicated flowchart. Adu elli shuru agutte, adu elli end agutte, adu heng hogutte, tale hinge hogta irutte, but we won't understand. Complicate madak hogbedi. Correct, no? So keep it nice. If you cannot express it nicely, because see, unlike GS, one mistake adre it's okay. Illi one mistake adre it is half a paper. So therefore, you have to be very careful. Okay. So mistakes first should be avoided. Amele you go on building value addition to your essay. Okay. Next, So continuity and transition is very important. Okay, so each paragraph when you write, it should make a very good transition. Okay, from one idea to another. It's very easy for me to say, I understand, but somehow it should not be a break in the idea. So when you're talking about advantage, you should be only about advantage. When you're talking about suggestions, it should be only advantage ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಗೆ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಅಲ್ಲ. So it has to have its own place. Something comes like that, you write it down in the last page and incorporate it somewhere else. And I have also seen students get tempted. And when I'm correcting their paper, I say, ಇದ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬರ್ದ್ರಿ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಅದು ನನ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಓದಿದ್ದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. But it's not relevant. Yes, don't get tempted because you have put in hard work and try to remember something. ಅದನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು ನನಗೆ. So it becomes, like a bad advertisement in between a good movie or something like that. Alva? So sometimes might have seen movie irutte, suddenly they will show some ad in between that. Matlab, they will try to incorporate that ad. They will be drinking Coca-Cola or something. They just want to show the Coca-Cola. Adikke they will put that scene. A scene has no relevance. Angagogutte. Okay. So it's just again a waste. Yen ashtu dangerous alla. Okay. Obviously, it's not that dangerous, but the flow gets interrupted. Okay. Emotionally, the examiner might get, ondadre okay. Erdu mooru atara agodre, then it becomes very obvious. Okay. Right. So that's the transition. If you're writing some idea, stick to that idea and in this flow. Okay. Next, short sentences. Obviously, if you are not used to writing mains, when you start writing, you will realize ಕೆಲವರು almost on the 6-7 lines. I have seen students write 6-7 lines of sentence. Starting and the ending ಅದು ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Because see, as I told you, 9-second rules. So same way, num sentence after 2 or 3 lines, we can't comprehend the sentence. Am I making myself clear? So put a full stop and start a new sentence. Okay. I mean, I don't know, like an example tara enadru baribekandre demographic dividend will help us to do that, but in this context, so continuous idea alla. Put full stop in between. Further, that, also, atara, you try to put those words and start. Furthermore. Okay, you can keep writing furthermore, anta baribodu. Full stop. So short sentence. If you ask me about 2 to 3 lines, break it. Examiners are not very smart. Okay, so therefore, ನೀವು ದೊಡ್ಡ paragraph ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು sentence ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು. And it looked like you have written only one point. So break it down into smaller sentence. Then subheading is a good idea to write. There is 2 ways to write subheading. It can be direct. Sometimes the headings can itself be creative. Okay, demographic dividend to demographic disaster. Anta heading irbodu. Under that, you will be writing disadvantage. You understood? So instead of just writing disadvantage and then writing the essay, you can write a small, unique or innovative heading. Demographic dividend to demographic disaster. That is your heading. Amele, you will write it in points or whatever, right? Then 1 page, 4 paragraphs. Again, make sure you break it down into paragraphs. On page only 3 to 4 paragraphs. The entire page 1 paragraph madbedi. 2 or 3 paragraphs, at least maximum 4. Okay, itara baribodu. Now the question is, can we write in points? I have written in points. I've got good marks. Okay, so where the demand is there for points, you write it in points because it makes the examiner's job also easy. But again, entire essay points al bardre, it becomes little bit less attractive for the examiner. Okay, so therefore maybe you can mix both of them. It gives a variety. So can you write in points? Yes, I have written in points and I have got good marks. Okay, na? So that also can be there. Matlab points andre 1, 2, 3. Advantage andre economic dividend. Adar kelgade you can write 1. Amele on the 2-3 paragraph admele 3. Social dividend. You can write. Atarano you can write. No problem. Okay. Anything else in this flow? Yes. Then coming to the conclusion. Again, like how introduction is very important for that hook Okay. Also, when you leave the examiner also, right, he should also feel happy that, his time was not wasted. So therefore, conclusion also plays a very important role. Okay. Because he or she will decide the marks at the end only, right? So illi disaster ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, blunder ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಮುಂಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲ, it becomes futile. Okay, so maybe you have to work on that. So a conclusion, brief summary is a good way to end the essay. Okay, so whatever you have argued, okay, brief agi you can summarize. Okay, then you can also summarize with a quote. If you have started with the quote, better to avoid writing quote again. So on the paper ali, maybe in between you can add one quote, starting me you can add one quote. It's okay. I mean, people have different opinion. This is my opinion. Some say you can start with the quote, end with the quote, no problem. It all depends on that moment. Again, I don't know, I have seen students write quote in the beginning and end, and I've liked it. Okay, so it all depends on you. None personal view I'm saying. Okay, then you can give challenges or demographic dividend if they have not asked suggestions or something, you can conclude by giving valuable suggestions as to how to reap the economic benefit. So you can give your views based on the arguments that you have made. Okay, and generally we say it has to be positive and balanced view. Okay, so if you are critical of whatever has happened, so your conclusion at least should be positive. Aita life allo ashte hangene, whatever challenges that you face, at the end you have to be positive. So you have to find the positive side of everything, because it leaves the examiner a little bit happy. And you see the power of being positive. Every day people are writing answers in our Telegram group is because they have the energy. You just have to push them. Adhe riti illinu ashte, they are ready to give you marks. So you have to make them happy. So positive message or conclusion bardaga, there is a smile, slight smile or hope that they have. Generally, our hormones also, positive hormones are released and they end up giving good marks, is what I believe in. So you can do that. Then suggestions like expert illi your views jote, you can also give expert opinions. Yado committee has given international experiences. All that can be also a good way to conclude, like how demographic dividend was used by Japan to, after war torn World War II admele, how they used their, existing demographic dividend to, same way history wise also you will show how it has become bad now. Yerdo, it's there. So that way you can give some story and conclude. Is that okay? So that is again, don't be abrupt. If the golden rule is that, okay, you should end any relationship with a very happy note. So don't abruptly stop your, switch off your phone and keep. Nobody will like. Adhe riti, this also, nobody will like abrupt this one. Okay, so there should be a easing way. You have given a beautiful idea in the beginning, gave the content, and also a very good conclusion. Okay, abrupt beda, and give importance to all the dimensions that you have given. All that, it's very theoretical in helado, but obviously it becomes challenging when you write. When you write and make mistakes, that is when you will learn. Okay, na? So this is the conclusion. Okay, and also obviously in your essay, very safe is to talk about big personalities, and don't be shy at all. Okay, any number of any aspirants, how much ever time they write Mahatma Gandhi or Abdul Kalam or Ambedkar, it's not going to get boring, or it's not going to be irrelevant. Don't think aur bardu now yak bariyodu. No, you can still, because they themselves have so much of weightage in their ideas that your arguments becomes very easy when you use them. Okay, so use them, okay, in your life as well as in your essay. Okay, so that is some again another suggestion that I would give.